street from Korea to USA that day because he knew that if he stayed in Korea, Jungkook wouldn't take long to reach him. He had seen Jungkook's passion for wine. He knew that he would never give up on wine, and after seeing wine in this state, he didn't want him to hurt her anymore. That innocent girl had already suffered a lot. If she suffered anymore, now she would surely. And he couldn't see her in pain anymore. Why he was going all this for her, he couldn't understand at first, but in the time, he understood his attachment to wine. What was eating him up the most was that even after seeing her in such a that day he couldn't do anything for her and left her there alone. But he was also forced by Jungkook. He trusted him enough to wine as much as wanted, but he would never do such a things to a girl. But on that day, not only his trust on him, but also such an old friendship was broken on that day. The whole life of an innocent girl was destroyed because of one action of Jungkook. After bringing wine to his fine condition, Woo and Taehyung admit her to the hospital for treatment. But what was most difficult for Taehyung after wine regained conscience was wine going into trauma. She was afraid of everything. She was afraid of people. She couldn't sleep and cried all the time. In those 2 months, Taehyung had taken care of her so lovingly, and now she had improved a lot. But if there was anyone she could trust a little more, it was only Taehyung. But during these 2 months, she only stayed in the room, did not meet anyone except Taehyung, and because of her condition, even Taehyung didn't force her to go anywhere. She had stopped screaming and crying. Now she would sit silently in the closed room all the day. If Taehyung spoke too much, she would reply to sometime, otherwise she would remain silent. She would also eat a little when Taehyung forcefully fed her. Otherwise, she would just sit in a corner hugging her knees without eating or drinking anything. Her eyes were empty and her face was tired. She had forgotten to smile, and Taehyung didn't bother her too much. But what had been bothering Taehyung day and night for the past 2 weeks was Wine's pregnancy. 2 weeks ago, it was revealed to Taehyung that she was pregnant when Wine fainted in his arms 2 weeks ago. But he was unable to tell her because of Wine's condition. He didn't understand how he should tell her this bitter truth, how she would react after hearing this. He was afraid that she might go back to trauma after hearing this. She was sleeping and he was sitting on the bed next to her, looking at her with loving eyes and gently stroking her hair. Taehyung, day by day you are becoming more important to me. You don't even take care of yourself. Now I am afraid that something will happen to you. If something happens to you, how will I live without you? Take care, get well soon. Many joys await you. Whispering lovingly, he gently kissed her forehead. He knew that she was now in a deep drug sleep and he used to spend that time with her. Wine, get up girl. Taehyung tried to wake her up 3 to 4 times. Then she slowly opened her eyes, seeing Taehyung in front of her. She tried to sit down and Taehyung helped her sit by supporting her. Taehyung, come on, get up and freshen up. It's night, it's time to have dinner. You must be hungry. We both eat together. No, I'm not hungry, you eat. She was about to fall asleep again, but Taehyung stopped her by holding her. Eat a little, please, Fan. You have not eaten since morning. Don't punish yourself. Wine eyes started to water, but after controlling her tears, she got up from the bed without arguing and headed to the washroom. She had been watching Taehyung worry about her for 2 months, but didn't have even any relation with her. She didn't want to worry him anymore. It was the first time Taehyung had seen her obeying him so calmly that his heart ached to see her like that. He now understood her very well. She came fresh. Taehyung had already put the food off the table in the room because she didn't leave room. Come sit here and have dinner. He patted the seat next to him and mentioned her to sit there. She sat there silently. Taehyung put the spoon full in front of her mouth like he was feeding her before, but Taehyung picked up the spoon. Don't worry about me, I will eat myself. You have your meal. Vanna spoke without looking at him and started eating. Taehyung was hurt by her behavior, but he didn't say anything. He quickly pulled back his hand and started to eat his food. He was also eating and watching her, who was struggling to eat by picking up little by little food from the spoon. Her hand shaking from weakness, Taehyung took the spoon from her hand and putting his food to the side and placing the plate in front of her food in front of him, he filled the spoon. Why no, I will eat by myself. Taehyung, don't be stubborn. You have seen your condition. You can't even hold a spoon. Let me do it for you. If I try, I will eat by myself. How long will you stay with me? You will get tired of me. Let me try by myself. Vine eyes were watered as she tried to take the spoon from Taehyung, but Taehyung pulled his hand back and moved closer to her to wipe away her tears. Now he understood the reason for her behaving this way. Taehyung, I promised I'll be with you as long as I live, and don't be foolish. I will never get tired of you, even if I take care of you for the rest of my life. At his answer, more tears began to flow from her eyes. And why are you doing so much for me? You have no relation with me, so I am a stranger for you. Those with whom I have a relation, then why you do care about me so much? Taehyung was silent for a while at her question. He didn't know how to answer her, how to tell her that she is very special to him. You are not a stranger to me. When I saw you for the first time, you seemed to me like my own, forgetting everything that has happened. Can you trust me? I am nothing to you, but I will never let you suffer in my life. Now stop crying and eat. Taehyung wiped her tear, who was sitting still looking at him, answered and started feeding her, and she also started eating silently. Taehyung was feeding her when suddenly Vine started to feel nauseous, and she immediately got up and went to the washroom. Taehyung also got up and followed her in worry. She was vomiting continuously, and he was stroking her back with one hand, holding her hair in his hand. She washed her face and turned back when she fainted due to sudden dizziness. When Taehyung took her in his arms and brought her to the room and laid her on the bed, concerned about Vine's condition, he immediately called the doctor. He was lying on Vine's bed as if he had no life in his body, and his whole body was burning with fever. His head was downwards from the bed, his eyes were crimson with constant tears flowing from them, and his eyes were fixed at one place, staring at the ceiling. He had been like that since Vine left. The guilt inside him was eating him day by day. The memory of Vine and what he did to her was driving him insane. After Vine left, he searched for Vine everywhere like crazy, but she was nowhere to be found. He stopped leaving his room and now lived in Vine's room. In this room, he felt Vine's painful memories and a painful ego in his mind, which made it difficult for him to live, but he wanted to feel. There was not a day in those 2 months when he himself forget it. Still, his inner pain seems nothing to him compared to the outer pain. Where have you gone, Paddle? Come back once. I have to apologize to you for my sin. I want you to give me that I have given you. You scream your memories. Don't let me live. Don't let me sleep. I yearn for you. I have to apologize to you. I promise that I will never let you suffer again. No matter how much you punish me, I will not give you a damn in front of you. But once you come back, I am dying without you. Come back once, please. His eyes was filled with tears, his voice was tired, he was falling apart without her, and he had closed his eyes because of the pain, but he didn't care about it. He was standing with the doctor outside Fine's room after he checked up. Doctor, vomiting and illness are normal in pregnancy, but the girl is very vulnerable and her pregnancy is high-risk pregnancy. Take care of her health and try not to take too much tension in her condition. Remains like this, she encouraged. Doctor, I have not told her till now, in what condition she was brought to you. I have not the courage to tell her at all. If I told, I'm afraid that she will never be the. I know, but if not today, then tomorrow she will find out for herself. You are a strong man. You have handled her before, and I am sure you will handle her again. But if something happened to her this time, I won't be able to handle myself. She is only 19 years old, and she has suffered a lot such an age, and she will not be able to bear any more pains, and I will not be able to see her in this state any longer. Doctor, I have another option if you want. If she didn't want about it, bring her to the hospital. We don't let her know and about that Jerry. Taehyung. He was lost in thoughts while listening to the doctor. No, doctor, my conscience does not allow me to kill someone. The doctor had left and Taehyung came into one's room with a heavy heart. She regained conscience and was sitting up. He came closer to her and sat next to her on the bed. She was looking at him with blank eyes while he forced a smile at her. How are you feeling now? I'm better. What happened to me? Taehyung, I have to tell you something. I wanted to tell you earlier, but I didn't have the courage to tell you. What do you want to tell me? A strange fear rose in her heart. Taehyung, first promise that you won't get stressed or cry or hurt yourself. Taehyung took both of her hands in his. But what he said, that you are so afraid to tell Taehyung. Usually this is a good news for girls, but not for you. You are pregnant, man. Those were his words. Are deep wounds that man felt herself groaning in unbearable pain as she heard them. Tears welling up in her eyes. She was not in condition to hear anything. That painful night came to her mind again. When I have to go, take a shower, leave me alone. I am not at all, Brian. You promised me you wouldn't hurt yourself. I have to go. Please let me go. Otherwise I'll go mad. Please let me go. He was crying and screaming like a crazy person trying to get free from his grip. Seeing her condition, Taehyung's eyes were also wet. He immediately pulled Ryan to him and hugged her tightly and started beating her head to make her calm. As soon as he hugged her, she burst into tears. Taehyung, just keep quietly, nothing happened. I know it's hard for you, but you are strong girl. You can do it all. No, I am not a strong girl. I am going to do it. I can't. I am tired. Then don't say that you are not alone. I am with you. We will raise the child together. Why? No, I won't be able to do that. Those memories kill me. How can I love his mark for the rest of my life? Then try to forget these memories. You are going to be a mother now. Consider him only as your child. I am sure your child will make you forget all the sorrows of the world. He had been comforting her for a long time and keeping her quiet. He knew it was very difficult for her, but that moment he couldn't do anything but comfort her. After some time, she became silent and moved away from him. You need something, he wiped her tears. Wine, water, time, okay, I bring. And got up and went out to get water for her, and Wine got up and went to the washroom. Locking the door inside, she turned to the shower and sat under the water. She slowly placed her hand on her stomach. The feeling of being mother for the first time dawned to her. Tears once again spilled out of her eyes, and remembering this, she once again cried badly. After some time, he came to the room with water, and Wine was not there. Hearing the sound water falling from the washroom and the sound of wine, he felt as if someone had twisted his heart. He was sitting on the bed holding his head. He knew that it was that girl, but he was helpless. He could not do anything for her. He was sitting near the window in the living room and looking outside at the plants in the garden and the birds flying. She was starting to cover and even come out of the room. Taehyung was very concerned about her pregnancy, and Wine was also getting attached to Taehyung and her child. Sometimes she would be in a good mood and would talk to her baby alone with her hands on her tummy, and she would cry again at the thought of him. He was quietly looking at the scenery outside when Taehyung came up to her holding 2 mugs of coffee. Taehyung, you always sit by the window and watch. If you want, you can go outside to the garden and enjoy the weather outside. Go outside the heights for a while, and your mind will be refreshed. Taehyung handed her a mug of coffee. No, I like it here. It's a bit relaxing. I don't want to go out. Both were sipping coffee while looking outside. Finish your coffee and get ready. Today we have to go out for shopping. Wine looked at him in surprise. He had never mentioned going out in those 3 months. He even called the doctor at home for her checkups. I won't go, you go. You know I don't go. And look at yourself. What have you done by staying at home all day? If you go out, you will feel better, and we will have dinner tonight in our hotel. Anyway, now I don't understand your shopping, and you must be bored by wearing clothes of my useless dress. Today you can do your own shopping. And no, your choice is good. Like that is clothes you buy. You go shopping. I don't go there. Don't be stubborn. Come with me. You don't have a buy for anything for your baby. What will the baby wear when he was born? He will think that his mother did not buy anything for him. She was silent in the name of baby shopping. She wanted to go, but Jungkook's fear changed her mind once again. You can do this shopping too. I don't know. I'm not interested in that. Taehyung eliminated this fear from within you. You are safe with me, and he can never reach you again. He will not come, believe me. Now hurry up and we have to go. He pulled away from her and was about to leave when Wine stopped him by grabbing a back of his shirt, and Taehyung turned to look at him and look at her in surprise. It was the first time Wine had ever touched him. Thank you, you are so sweet. I don't want thank you, like if you want to say thank you. He opened his arms and Wine smiled slightly at him and slowly hugged him. He was seeing her smile for the first time. He didn't think that such a small smile of Wine could be so beautiful. Taehyung also hugged her lovingly. Anyway, keep smiling, you look so beautiful. Now let me do your hair and then we have to go. No, I am not going, I am afraid. Taehyung, I am with you, yet you are afraid. So come with me. He had taken Wine to the restaurant. After shopping, Wine was not sitting in front of Taehyung but beside him, and all this time Wine did not let go of Taehyung's hand even for a moment. She was scared to come out today after such a long time. Sit back and relax, I am with you. Why are you afraid? Security is here, quite good. You don't go anywhere, okay? She said, looking at him. You will wait for me here For some time, I will come back after washing my hands. Promise I will come soon. Her eyes were moist. You said you will never leave me. I'm not leaving you. I'm just going to wash my hands there. He pointed with his finger towards the restroom there. Now I go. Unwillingly, I nodded yes, and he walked away, caressing her hair lovingly. After he left, my eyes were focused on where he had gone. When she first felt her eyes on her mind, quickly turned her gaze to follow the gaze of her. Fear filled her eyes and her hands began to tremble as she saw him in front of her today. And he who was busy looking at wine while forgetting the world had come here for a meeting and was about to leave when he caught sight of wine sitting alone, no matter where he looked for her. After seeing her, his happiness knew no bounds. He was worried about her all the time, that she didn't know how she would be after that day, whether she would be alive or not, but seeing her safe and fine in front of his eyes, he couldn't believe it. Beryl, her name was whispered out of his mouth, and he started to smile and take a step towards her while Vaughn stood up in fear, seeing him coming towards her. Her mind stopped working with fear. Seeing him coming towards her, she started running outside. While seeing her running away, he followed her. Beryl, stop, please listen to me. He was calling her, but she was just running away, putting her hands on her ear. She didn't want to hear his name. Tears was flowing from her eyes. She had closed the door of the restaurant. Seeing her running blindly on the road, he shouted in fear, "Beryl, stop please," but at the same time, a car had gone. She was lying on the road, gathering around. Jungkook stood there motionless. Everything happened so fast that he didn't understand anything. Tears gathered in his eyes for the fear of losing her again. He was looking at her, but he didn't have the courage. Dreading they went to her and pushing aside the crowd of people, he sat on his knee beside her and lifted her head in his lap. "Can open your eyes, Beryl?" Jungkook patted her face and tried to wake her up, but she was not conscious at all. He immediately picked her up and ran to his car. His guards immediately opened the door for him, and after sitting in the car, the driver immediately started the car. He entered the hospital carrying Wyan in his arms. Seeing the condition of Wyan, The doctors immediately admitted her while the operation was going on, and he sat in a dazed state outside the operation theatre looking at his blood-red hands. He was helpless, reminded of the last moment he had spent with Ryan when he had picked up for the last time. Even then his hands were covered. The only difference was that last time it still seemed to him like a nightmare that had taken his life away from him in an instant. He was sitting staring at the door of the theatre where that innocent woman was fighting for her life. The agony, the end he had given to her today had burned Jungkook. Jungkook could feel her sobs. She cried in front of him, and he had no mercy. Jungkook stood up, shaking off his bad thought, and looked at my lifeless body from through the glass wall of the operation theatre where the doctors were treating her. She had machined all over her. Doctors were trying to clean up and stop from her head. Her face was turning pale, which was giving Jungkook. Jungkook was leaning his head against the glass wall and crying badly after the guard standing next to him was surprised to see him crying. His assistant sat him on the bench holding in arms. He wondered why the girl he had put through all the pains he had let her was crying for her today. Jack, tell her to get up. I can't live without her. I can't relax. I am getting restless. I feel my body burning. I can't see her like this. Please tell her get up. He looked madly in love while bowing with assistant. Sir, we can't do anything. Just pray that she will be fine. Don't worry, she will be fine. He was surprised to hear such scattered words from the mouth of a man like Jungkook. After a while, the doctor came out of and he immediately stood looking at them with hopeful eyes. How's she? Sorry, sir, we couldn't save your baby. She was hit very badly and she was only 10 weeks pregnant. And she had a very bad head injury some time ago, and now due to the doctor had given him encouragement, but Jungkook had no courage left. His heartbeat was slow, and if someone had torn his heart, so it was proof that all the happiness of his was consumed by his hatred and revenge, and the presence of this person in this girl's life was only the cause of her ruin. He still couldn't believe what he was hearing. Was she really going to be the mother of Jungkook's child, yet unknowingly giving her another pain today? Jungkook, I wish you had not met me or come into my life, then you wouldn't be in this situation today. He was crying with his face covered in a broken state. His condition was pitiful while he was standing far away, staring at her with angry eyes. It took a while for Taehyung to figure out which hospital she was admitted to and had just entered the hospital and stopped when he saw Jungkook. He was very angry with him, but he didn't want to say anything. Where and how is fine. He had addressed Jack, but as much as Jungkook was relieved to hear his voice, after so long he was hearing the voice of his friend, who had always supported him, but now he was angry. Sir, she is currently undergoing surgery and her condition is critical, and she was probably pregnant, so now her child is no. Stop, he didn't have the courage to listen anymore. Taehyung, he said, looking at him while Taehyung did not even look at him. Take your boss from here. I have come. There is no need for him there. He was done what he had to do. Seeing sternly, he stood up the door of the operation theatre and was trying to look at Taehyung through the glass wall. His lips started to tremble at her condition, but he stood firm, biting his lips. Jungkook was hurt by his tone, but he knew he deserved it. Jungkook walked over to him and placed a hand on his shoulder, which Taehyung shook off. Don't touch me with your dirty hand. They were used to an innocent girl. At his foot, more tears started to fall from Jungkook's eyes. Taehyung, you are my friend. You don't do this to me. Listen to me once, please. He cried out to him, and this is where Taehyung's temper broke. Taehyung, not your friend, and I'm sorry for the time I have been your friend, and do I listen to you? After seeing the condition of this girl, do you have anything left to listen? I have prayed you more than you, and you have received more times from her. You used to say that you have her and you have done whatever you want. You have ruined her, and now again because of you she is between life and death. What happened to her after that? She was in a coma for a whole week. She was having a nervous breakdown. She had no chance. And after regaining conscience, she remained in coma. She lived in close to her home and was afraid of everyone. But today you come and took that happiness from Today I saw her smile for the first time and thought I will keep her smile forever, but you are the one to ruin her, to take away her happiness. So how can she stay happy? Please leave us alone. You have done what you have to do. You have that thing that once again connected you with her is gone. I took care of her last time too. If she survives this time, I will take care of her this time. Please leave us alone. At the end, he pleads before Jungkook with folded hands and tears streaming down his face. Taehyung, I didn't do all that to her on purpose. That night it happened to me by mistake. I was drunk at night. He tried to explain himself. Enough, Jungkook. Everyone drinks alcohol, but if there is no dirt in their intention, then no one does such a cruelty to an innocent person, even when drunk. And that night I believe you were drunk and Jungkook heart was breaking to hear Taehyung harsh words, but he knew that he had sinned and that he would suffer the consequence. Taehyung went on for me so long. I am not like this. I believe I have sinned, and I am ashamed of it. I was blinded by anger and hatred. I have wronged this girl so much. I want to ask forgiveness from her for all my sins. There is no need for you to apologize to her when you saw her and saw her innocence and didn't even pity. No, I can't go away from her. I will spend these 2 months in a corner without her. I love her and have since the day I saw her, but I can't understand my love. Oh, love, and you, if you did this to her in love, I wonder what you would do to her in hate. You don't love her, you are just mean and selfish person, and you still only want your own meaning. You think you'll apologize to her for what you did and she'll forgive you. You will take her back. That girl is so afraid of saying you that she wanted, but she couldn't not bear to see you in for a movement. You think you can convince her in one more time, but if she survives this time, you will never come in front of her even for a movement. Give him one more chance. He walked out of there, suffocating from staying here any longer. While Jungkook was lost in thoughts, he knew it was not that easy to convince. Jungkook sat next to her and holding her hand in his, slowly running his finger through her hair. Seeing her tears from felt Jungkook eyes, Jungkook gently placed her lips on Ryan's forehead while stroking her hair and felt it for a long time. Jungkook's touch was full of longing, relief, pain. He couldn't help himself, even if he wanted to. He had lost everything: Ryan, his child, his love, Ryan's existence. He was so ashamed of his mistake that he couldn't even make eye contact with Taehyung. Ryan was out of danger now, but still unconscious. Taehyung had not spoken to Jungkook once since that day. He ignored his presence as if he was not even here, or he may not even know him. What Jungkook felt most in those 3 years and days was Taehyung's love and concern for Ryan. Although he didn't verbally confess his love for Ryan, his every gesture showed how much he loved her. He always cared for Ryan like a little child, and Jungkook was always there. He was whispering to her as he felt his hot breath on her face, making Ryan nervous. His eyes moving, which brought a smile to Jungkook's lips, kissing her forehead. He leans back and looked very closely at Ryan's face, slowly running his finger over Ryan's face. I am very bad, but still he obeyed my every word, my bottle. Vine started to open her eyes slowly. When Vine opened her eyes, seeing Jungkook so close to her, fear started to appear in Vine's eyes, seeing the one whom she was afraid to see even in her dreams. She started trying to get up. She wanted to run away from him again, but this time her body was not cooperating. Don't get up, you will get hurt. He reached out his hand to wipe away Vine's tear as he said quietly, but Vine sweated back his hand. The movement of Jungkook torture flashed through her mind once again. Vine, please step back, don't come near me, please. She was shouting with her hands over her hair. She didn't even want to hear his voice. Better, what happened? Listen to me. In panic, Vine pulled out the trip needle of her hand, causing her hand to, as she struggled to get up, causing pain to her bones, but she didn't care about the pain at all. That time, seeing her in the street, Jungkook moved towards her to handle her. No, please don't let me go. She was sitting there screaming with her eyes closed. She was holding her head in both hands because of the surf pain in her head. That when Taehyung also opened the door and came in, seeing Vine in this situation, he immediately went towards her. He hugged Vine as he approached her. No, please let me go, please. She was constantly staring with her eyes closed, trying to free herself. What happened? Calm down. I am here. There is no one else. Look at me. She calmed down and looked at Taehyung. Voicing opened her eyes and looked at Taehyung. When she saw Taehyung in front of her, she hugged him and buried her face in his chest and gave it over. Where did you go? You know how scared I was. I missed you so much. Where did you go leaving me? You said you always with me and never leave me. I didn't go anywhere. Fine, I said I will always be with you. I will always be with you. Come on, stop crying now. You know he come again. He would take me again. He was still here. At the thought of Jungkook being here, she looked away from Taehyung just to Jungkook, who was looking at them, seeing him with bullet fine, her face in his chest again in fear. He's still here. He's there. He'll take me with him. Don't let me go. He'll hurt me again. Don't be afraid, I am with you. No one will say anything to you now that I am with you. He was trying to calm her today by stroking her hair while she was trembling with fear and just crying and seeing her feeling safe. But time made him realize a mistake he had made. Seeing her condition, he realized that he had made Vine not only hate him but fear him immensely. Even with time, she was trembling with fear in his presence. It can still be turned into a love, and Jungkook was acutely aware of this. He had felt his fear in Vine had so much that there was no space of love for him, forgiveness. He was badly broken today. He lost everything, even his last hope today. Jungkook had pain in his chest looking at them. His answer was starting to turn red from the pain. He wanted to call Vine one last time and apologize to her, but this heart and mind refused to do so. He didn't even find himself worthy of forgiveness today. He didn't want to make Vine's condition worse. He quietly left her, seeing Vine crying. His condition was not hidden from Taehyung. Seeing him, Taehyung will feel bad for him. After all, he had been his friend so long. Taehyung, look, there is no one here. You have got misunderstood. No, he is there. Look, he is not there. Vine slowly pulled her face from his chest to see he was not there. It calmed her down a bit. I said, no, he's not there. Pulling away from him, he sat down comfortably on the bed and sat on the bed with her pinned in a cotton sack to wipe her hand. He was still looking around in fear. He was sitting by the sea with Vian, Taehyung hand on Vian's waist, and Vian resting her head on Taehyung's shoulder, both of them silently watching the waves rising from the sea. They were both married, there was a calm environment, and now their life also calm. But there was someone whose fate was only restlessness. Since that day he left her and never come back in her life, but he could. She was his first love, and first love is never forgotten, and he could never forget either. When his inner restlessness, the desire to see Vian become too much, he would take a round-the-clock flight to America and sit and watch her from afar. And when he felt the urge to get close to Vian, he would go back this punishment he had chosen for himself. He had become a self-imprisonment feeling to bind Vian in his prison, in her love, and in his desire he was still holding his identity. There are some mistakes that take everything away from you, from which there is no forgiveness or reparation.